Welcome back to White Fox After Hours.
Welcome.
I'm Scarlett.
And I'm Cody.
And we are hosts of the official White Fox podcast.
Yes, we are reporting live Monday morning, 9 a.m. So you're getting us fresh start of the week.
Fresh as a daisy.
Yeah, so I can't really ask how your week's been because it's just started.
Well, I think it's going to be a good week.
I think it's going to be a good week. We're off to a good start.
Yeah, we are. I had a chill weekend. So I was in the warehouse. I'm excited for the next few weeks. We're just prepping for our next trip with work.
Yeah.
So lots of planning's going into that. So that's a lot of the next few weeks coming. We've just had a lot going on in the last few months for White Fox. I feel like we always do, but we've just had event after event, and now our next major event is coming, and it's exciting.
It's going to be a big trip, and we're doing some fun vlogcasting as well. So
this is our new personality.
Yes.
Vlogcasting, and I really love it for us.
I love it too. And we have never done a proper podcast or even a proper long vlog for a trip that we've been on. So I'm excited. You guys will see all the fun, all the chaos. It's always interesting on one of our trips. We have a lot of fun.
Yes, so that will be coming soon. We've had Afterpay Day. We mentioned it last week.
Yeah.
We've been helping out doing that. And then we have the Baddest second birthday coming up, which is our sister brand, our sister tanning brand. So we're celebrating its second birthday. So this on Friday.
Yeah, we've got our second birthday party. It's going to be really fun. The girls have planned the whole thing. It looks super cute, so we're very excited to do that. All the baddie vibes are just so cute. It's fun to do something a little bit different.
Yeah, I'm excited. So we'll give you a bit of a recap on that next week.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like it's just a lot of prepping and planning at the moment, which is exciting. What else?
Okay, we have to talk about Kate Middleton because where is she?
This
Where
has
is she?
blown up TikTok.
Yeah.
Kate Middleton's missing.
I'm obsessed with this. I mean, I hope she's okay. I think she's okay.
I think so too. The whole Photoshop thing was weird.
That was so... Okay, what is she... That's when it's giving really cryptic vibes.
That's when it's giving is she
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Because I didn't really think about it too deeply because she had told everyone she was going to take a few months off for a abdominal surgery. So fair enough. You don't want to be out and about in the paparazzi while you're going through recovery. However, what's with the Photoshop thing?
Yeah.
Her saying she's an amateur photographer. Sorry.
It was really strange. That's when it gets is something going on, and I think that's why everything's blown up so much. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
It's really strange. What do you think's happened?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about what conspiracy. I'm actually not on this side of TikTok. I've seen it, but I'm not deep in this side of TikTok. What's your thoughts?
Okay, I have thoughts. I think that something is going on between Will and Kate.
Have you seen this conspiracy on TikTok, or is this your own?
Yeah, this is one of the conspiracy thoughts. So Will has had affairs before, and I feel like something has happened with either someone that he's had an affair with in the past, or I don't know. He seems he's a bit of a concern. He's not very loyal. I think something's happened, and Kate's nah, I've had enough. She's either doing it to make his life a bit difficult, or she just genuinely needs a break.
But also, how do you not get seen? When everyone's looking for you.
Yeah.
Has she not left the house? Do you think that she's just not left the house at all in 4 months? Stepped out even for a walk. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I think she would have the best of the best that can help her be private if she wants to. Or she's actually had surgery and she's not left the house. I don't know.
Maybe it is that. Maybe there's been a complication with the surgery and she's taken a bit longer to recover. And that they're not going to publicly say that.
Well, she said she'd be back by Easter. So if she isn't back by Easter, I think people are going to go crazy.
Who said that?
She did. When she told the public that she was going to take some time off this year. Yeah. They said that she'd be back by Easter.
Oh, so
if she's not back by Easter, then I think people will be suspicious. Yeah.
So why's everyone worried?
I think people just like to cause a fuss.
People love a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they do. I do, personally.
Yeah, Cody's all up in these conspiracy theories. We've been seeing all the ones that she's had a BBL and everyone's putting a BBL on her.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case.
I hope she's okay, but TikTok is really blowing things out of proportion.
TikTok has gone
TikTok's just a
wild.
funny place. I love TikTok.
I've been on a weird side of TikTok recently. That's probably why I'm not seeing this.
What side of TikTok?
I don't want to speak about what I saw this morning. I was concerned and I was like, I want to report this so I don't see this kind of stuff
Oh
again.
no.
I'm not saying it. It made me feel sick.
Okay.
And I'm embarrassed that I'm even on it. I don't know. I've never...
We'll have to have words about this later. I'll start sending you some Kate Middleton TikToks.
Yeah, I need to get on a different side of TikTok.
Yeah.
Either that or I'm like also on like always like on a work kind of side where I'm like being like, oh, this is cute that we could do. So
Yeah.
like...
That's good. I never see that stuff.
Well, that's what I've been sending you stuff lately.
Have you? I don't really ever check my TikTok DMs.
Get back in there.
TikTok's my safe space. Also, Ariana Grande's new album, there's been a lot of tea coming out with that because
A lot of people are making TikToks about it. Yeah.
It's a really good album. I really like it, but I feel like she is really good at like telling stories in her songs. And there's this one song that mentions all these like rumors about her being cheated on by her ex-husband. And people don't know if it's like actually happened because there was so much that happened last year with her and that SpongeBob guy.
Wait, what have I missed?
Do you not know about this at all? So she divorced her ex-husband and then there was a very messy love triangle situation with her and her co-star in Wicked. Now they're together, but he has kids and he had a wife and it was very complicated. So
now they're together.
Now they're together. They've been together for a while, but there's a lot of tea going on because it's like the timelines are a bit messy. There's allegations of her cheating with this guy and also her being cheated on and the whole thing is just a mess. So this album is a bit like, ooh.
Yeah, right. Cody's up with all the knowledge. This is she's on TikTok.
I spend too much
guys.
time
She's
on TikTok. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there's people are thinking that it's about her.
People are thinking that
past
she
husband.
was cheated on, yeah.
Which probably makes sense. Like, wouldn't put that out there knowing that they were going to think that if he'd done nothing wrong.
But she's had to come and make a statement because her fans are giving him so much hate that she's like, it's not actually helping me for you guys to hate on him. Like, stop, basically. So, very interesting times.
Yeah, wow. I feel like with social media now, people who have a cult following like that, it's actually scary to be on the other side of doing something to them.
Yeah, it must be so hard. Like, a lot of people would think that they'd want to date them, but like the reality of actually dating a celebrity, I think would be so hard.
I feel like it's so bad now with TikTok hate culture. It's actually scary.
Oh, it's really scary. Like everything that's happened with like, I mean, Taylor Swift is very like idolized in a positive way, but if you got on her bad side, like I feel so sorry for Travis Kelce if they ever break up. And like the whole like Selena and Hailey, like just TikTok is a crazy place to be.
I know. But anyway, should we get into the episode?
Yeah, we've got a fun episode today.
So on this week's episode, we asked you for all of your crazy stories and we asked for all different topics, but we only got dating.
Yes. It's just easier to get crazy dating stories, I
Yeah.
think. We ended up also telling a bunch of our own stories. I was looking back at this episode, I was like, wow, we really just got in a roll with all these things. I feel like when we talk about the stories that you guys send in, all of a sudden I'm like,
something for us.
yeah.
And yeah.
So sorry, we get on a bit of a ramble, but they are really funny stories. So I hope you guys enjoy them at our expense.
I know. And like we said in the last episode, the reason why we date sometimes is to get the stories
It's
for
for
you guys.
the stories. It's for the plot.
We have some good stories in there. We hope you enjoy.
Yes.
And let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
So today we are doing an episode on all of your crazy stories. We put a question box out to everyone on socials and we asked you to send in any of your crazy dating, friendship, really anything stories, travel. We got a lot of dating.
We got a lot of dating, yeah. I feel like it's easy to get dating horror stories because you don't know these people. They
They're out
are
and
literally
about.
strangers and we've learnt more than once that these people can be absolutely nuts.
I mean, like we've said before, You need dating in your life, if not just for the like experience, but for the stories.
Exactly.
So here we are exposing your dating stories and some of ours, honestly, because this triggered some memories for us. We were like, oh my
Yeah.
God, remember that time? And yeah, we have a few of our own.
Yeah, we got into like a spiral last night being like, oh my God, that reminds me of this and that reminds me of that. And we were just laughing because it's so tragic.
Yeah, some of them are really tragic. And I feel like we haven't done an episode like this in a while. So we thought, let's bring it back.
Yeah, let's bring it back. You guys love our crazy stories. I feel like people always love them on TikTok because they are very entertaining. So should we get into the first one?
Let's do it. So our first story that we had sent in is a friend of mine went on a date with this girl and she decided to invite him back to her place. They got back, were chilling, and candles were lit in her room to set the mood. They were talking and started kissing. Everyone was having a great time. Everyone. They got into bed and tilted her head to the side. As they continued to kiss, they started smelling something burning. They obviously stopped only to realize that her hair had been caught on fire from one of the candles that was lit. So half of the hair on that side of her head was burnt. That is tragic, isn't it?
Can you imagine? Her hair literally caught on fire. There's nothing worse than when you're trying to be like sexy.
Something happened.
Something. Like, no, you'd just be like screaming.
I mean, I'd like even take away from that minute. Imagine half of your hair being burnt off. Like, we work hard for this hair. Like, we're like getting haircuts.
Nothing would
We're
stop
using
me.
masks.
I could be in like any situation and like just that is the only thing that matters.
I know.
literally
Imagine half
cannot.
of your hair being burnt off in any situation. It's bad, but this one in particular.
Oh, I literally don't know. I would like use him as a fire blanket.
Oh yeah,
Like, make it
really kill
stop.
the mood, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Kill the mood, that one. I wonder if they saw each other again.
I feel like when something really embarrassing happens, I just don't know if I could see them again purely because I couldn't get it out of my head.
Yeah, maybe you could bond over it though.
Yeah, it would either be like really bonding you or really the opposite.
It would depend on how they reacted in that situation.
True.
Like if he was like not being the best, but if he was like trying to help you and like trying to make you feel better and like just having a laugh, I don't know if I could laugh it off my hair being burnt off. Oh
my God.
I'm sorry that happened. That's tragic.
Yeah. Story number 2. I was seeing a guy for a few weeks and everything was going really well. We'd mostly been out on dates to bars or restaurants, but this time he offered for me to come over to his house and cook for me. I'd never had anyone offer to cook for me before, so I gladly accepted, thinking this was such a nice gesture. When the date came around, we were chatting and drinking wine while he cooked. He decided to make a green chicken curry, but I was a little suspicious about the order he was cooking in. I personally wouldn't have done it in that way, but I thought each to their own and didn't want to come across controlling. When we start eating, I try and get all of this out of my head, and at first it seemed fine, but after a few bites, something definitely didn't taste right. I didn't want to seem rude, so continued eating, while he also seemed blissfully unaware. After a few hours, something definitely felt off in my stomach, so I made an excuse to get home ASAP. And yes, you guessed it, my date gave me salmonella.
Oh no.
I was literally sick for days after this and never saw him again. Oh my God.
That's a really hard situation. Like, what are you meant to do?
That actually is hard because I'm really weird about chicken. And if I taste it being a bit off, normally I'll just be like, no, like I'm going to stop eating.
Put on a date and he's cooked for you.
Oh. That's really
He
uncomfortable.
was trying, but no. We have to know how to cook chicken. We can't be.
That's such an ick that like you can't even cook chicken. But also like, I feel like that's one situation that you can never be too nice in. Like put yourself first because having salmonella for days.
Yeah. Like you could have just make a joke out of it being like, what do you like? Do you need some help here?
Yeah, I know.
If he's like putting it in like it's strange that he's offered to cook when he doesn't know how to cook it. Like, was he sick? I have so many questions.
I know.
Or is he, maybe he's just used to it.
Maybe his stomach of steel. Oh, I'd be so pissed if I was like a few days of like throwing up. That's so gross. That really puts you
You
out.
can literally die from salmonella.
Yeah. Oh my God, imagine.
Like you can literally die. Like, it's not something to be messing around with out here. Okay, we've learned a lesson. Don't be letting these men cook if they don't know how to.
No.
We're ordering takeaway.
Takeaway, please. What do you think about people cooking for you?
Well, we had a man's recently try to cook for me a lot.
True.
But it was too late. It was past my bedtime.
I'll let you cook if it's on my schedule.
Yeah. Which is nice. I think it's nice. But I do think that it's more of like a third to fourth to fifth even date thing. Like,
yeah.
I do think, I think for the first at least few dates, you want to be going out into like a mutual kind of ground before you are cooking. I do think it's a nice gesture.
I think it's a nice gesture too, but yeah, you like I don't want to go over to someone's house when I've just met them.
Yeah.
That kind of freaks me out. And also, yeah, what if they give you food poisoning? No, thank you.
Well, now new fear unlocked.
Yeah.
So I don't know, lucky I didn't go. But I think like for me, it would be more a guy is like, oh, I'm a good cook, like I want to cook for you.
Yeah.
Rather than like him just like whipping together like some like
the chicken curry
that he doesn't know how to cook. Like I'd be like a bit like, what's going on here?
I would let a guy cook like a steak for me or something. Like something that I'm not very good at myself.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm here for the cooking. Like I think it's a nice gesture, but I think it's a few date thing in. And maybe by the time you get there, you are able to kind of be like, hey, is something like wrong with this? You know, because you've had a few dates and you're like.
Yeah, and we can't be getting salmonella from our dates.
What do you think?
About this situation?
About cooking on a date?
Oh, yeah, I'm the same as you. I think it has to be further down the line when you're a bit more comfortable. And
then you can say something.
Because sometimes it seems like a nice gesture, but it's actually just a really low effort option, you know? Like they can't be bothered going out with you. So they just like, oh, I'll cook for you.
I would like to hope that that wasn't the situation, but yeah, it is, yeah.
You never know. It could just be, that's the thing. You could make excuses for both and you won't know till you go. But let's just hope that they don't give you food poisoning.
Beware, guys. New literal fear unlocked.
Honestly.
Okay. I met a guy when I was out with the girls. Let's call him Ted. Ted and I really got along. He ended up getting my number and we were texting back and forth for a few weeks. The weekend comes around and Ted says he really wants to meet me. We were both going out with our friends, so we had a rough plan to meet each other out. Ted and I are messaging all night, so I managed to get my girlfriends to agree to come and meet him with me. Now keep in mind, I am 25. I finally meet Ted and introduce him to my friends I was with, but everyone keeps coming up to him saying happy birthday. I was like, wait, is it your birthday today? And his friend said, yeah, it's his 21st birthday. All of his friends were so excited that I actually came. I was literally the guest of honor at his 21st birthday party. I never date anyone younger than me, so I really freaked out. I made an excuse to leave, but my friends will never let me live this one down. Okay, I think I get the age thing, but I think the funniest thing is, and it's like cute that he's like told everyone at this party after you've met him once that you're arriving, like you're the guest of honor at his birthday.
I can't. This would give me the biggest ick. Like I'm the same. I don't really date people that are younger than me. And this would just freak me out so much. Like, oh, it's kind of cute, but it's like
it is cute
in like an endearing, like child way. Like,
because he's told every single person at the.
I know, and like you wouldn't know until you got there. Like, imagine everyone being like, "Oh, happy birthday, happy birthday!" It's his literal birthday party.
That's so funny that he's like not told you that it's his birthday too. Like,
I know
he's not told you his age. He's not told you his birthday. That it is his birthday and that you're the guest of honor there.
Yeah, like he's clearly trying to hide his age from you because he knows that it's going to freak you out. But also, like, you're going to find out if you come. So, like, what did you think was going to happen?
Have you ever had anyone lie to you about their age? I feel like it's quite a common thing for guys to do.
I don't think it's ever happened to me before.
One of my friends, she was dating someone and like a few weeks in, she was telling everyone that he was like literally like, she's 30. And she was telling everyone that he was like 20. I think he was like around 29. Found out he was 25. Like they're like dating.
Why would you lie? Like they're gonna find out eventually. I can't hold up a lie. So I would never lie about something like that. Like that's just like what
I know.
the stress.
And do you remember when I went on that date with the guy?
Yeah.
And he had matched with him on Hinge. So like, I've seen your Hinge age. Get there, and he's told me, I think his Hinge age was that he was like 25. Get there, and he's like, yeah, I'm 30. And like, that's great if you're 30, like all the better.
Yeah.
But like,
Why did you lie?
why'd you lie? And then I confronted him and I was like, oh, like, I thought you were 25. Like, it's better that you're 30 in my eyes.
Yeah.
More mature. But yeah.
It's just really strange because like I just don't get how they think they're going to get away with it.
No. Like, I'm going to find out. Your birthday's going to come around
Yeah.
and I'm going to find out.
I know. And it's like if they're lying about something like that, like they're definitely okay with lying about other things as well. So it's just a huge red flag.
It is a red flag.
But them being younger is just so funny because they obviously just know that you're not going to go for them when they find out the age. Maybe that's the hope that like they'll already catch feelings for you and then it won't be an issue. But it's like the lying is the issue.
Yeah.
Although I guess this guy didn't actually lie. They
just
never
didn't
had
say
that
it.
conversation.
Well, like, I guess, like, you're not going to be like, hey, by the way, like, I don't openly be like, if I meet someone, oh, by the way, how old are you?
I feel like I do.
Do you?
Yeah, because I want to know because of these situations.
But, like, I feel like I'm more attracted to guys who look older. Do you know what I mean?
But like this guy could have looked old and he's 21. Like you don't want to be. I feel like I will always ask them in the first like 20 minutes of us talking maybe. Like say I meet them out. I don't want to waste my whole night like chatting with them if I find out they're like 21.
Yeah. No, I would ask them if they looked like they could be, I think. I think that's more like if they could be like in between an age, I'd probably ask. But if I know that they're obviously like,
Yeah.
like sometimes I'm talking to men and they've got a few greys in here if they're 30, you know, they're obviously not 20.
True.
You know?
But it works the other way as well because what if they're like too old for you? Like my friend made the mistake of kind of getting herself into a situation with this guy that was probably too old for her. But by the time they kind of figured out how old each other were, it was too late. There was already like a vibe and like a bit of feelings.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good question to ask. And most guys, I
need-
feel like, have asked me if I haven't asked them. I don't know. Age is a hard one in your 20s because everyone's at different stages in their life and like maturity levels, especially men. Like they're like mature, maybe a little bit slower, most of them.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, yeah, we're looking for, I mean, everyone's age differs. We can be lenient, but 21, not sure about
Not
that
for
one.
me. Not for me.
21,
Not at 25.
no.
I mean, oh, no. I was going to say
no.
it works for people, but like, I feel like a 21-year-old boy
They've
is
just come
actually
out
like,
of high school. Immediately, no.
no.
You can tell. You can tell when you talk to them.
Yeah. Well, they just haven't experienced like anything.
Yeah.
No, it's no for me. And this whole situation is so funny. I feel like if that
You were
happened to me.
blindsided. You were blindsided.
Yeah, it's funny that the friends won't let you forget it and that you got all your friends to come to. Oh.
I know. She was really trying to meet this man.
I know. So funny. Okay, next one. Story number 4. My housemate had been dating this boy for a few months, and one weekend, my friend group ended up going on a night out with his friends. We all had quite a few drinks, and I ended up getting with one of his friends. This guy wasn't really my type, and I'd never thought about it happening before. And in the morning, he just looked so chuffed. I know it sounds bad, but it really gave me the ick. We all woke up the next morning, and I was ready for him to leave my apartment. My friend had other ideas. She says, how about we'll make breakfast and you two go and get coffee, then we'll all have breakfast together and go to the beach. Not exactly the day I had planned, but I did in fact end up spending the whole day with my one night stand against my will.
Oh.
Let's just say my friend really missed the memo.
There was a bit of a miscommunication in here, wasn't there?
Oh, just like waking up. Okay, I know exactly the feeling of like someone just being so chuffed. And it gives you the ick just the way they're like looking at you and if you're not it sounds really mean. Like if you're looking back, I've probably had situations where I've been the opposite person. We've probably all been both people. But when you're not into it, or maybe you regret your actions, it has nothing to do with them. And they're just looking at you so excited.
You're really feeling this one, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I just feel like a lot of the time, if you've done something like that, maybe you'll want to leave your actions in the night before. And if it gets brought into the whole next day, it's not exactly ideal, is it?
I mean, it's a hard situation where this person didn't have the decision about what they were going to do that day. Like it was kind of just made for her.
Yeah.
And I can see the feeling if like she was feeling like, oh, I want to get out of this. And you couldn't. And it's not like you can like text her if she's with the other guy and be like,
yeah, like you're together all day.
Yeah.
So you can't be like, hey, like it's pretty obvious. I feel like maybe in this situation, like you got with the guy in the friend group. So maybe you're just going to have to like
deal with
that one. Like that's kind of your mistake.
Hey besties, we're interrupting this episode of After Hours with a quick PSA that you can get 15% off at White Fox Boutique with code AFTERHOURS15.
So if you need a whole new wardrobe refresh, we've got you. Use the code AFTERHOURS15 and treat yourself today.
We've also left a link to shop and code in the episode notes, so let's get back into the episode.
If a situation like this happens, you just have to
You just have to be friends with them. Like obviously like if you're all in a friendship group and like you are like obviously you're all friends and it's fine and it's just like you just have to move on with it and
if you don't act embarrassed about it, then it won't be awkward. But if you're awkward, it will be so awkward. So just like
you just need to be
because everyone feeds off like your energy. You're the person that's like in the middle of it. So like just be as chill as possible.
Yeah.
It's not really
how you act, they're going to reciprocate as well. Like if you are being all awkward, they're going to feel awkward. But if you're just like, hey, then I mean, we've all been there.
We've all been there.
Actually, I've got another one. The last ex that I had a few years ago, we were like, it was through lockdown. Like we were living together and I moved home during lockdown. So our kind of comms were over the phone. I was planning to move back to Sydney once like COVID was kind of ending and we kind of like we're in a bit of a rough patch. Like it was getting a bit toxic. But he'd broken up with me, then we'd gotten back together and he had found this house for us. He was like, okay, let's move back. And I've found this house for us. I've made some like connections, got this house. And this has kind of like come up for recently because I was walking past it on the weekend a few times. Like I walked past the house.
The house.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like no feels or anything, but I just like, it just reminded me. I was
you
like,
won't forget that house.
Like, thank God I never moved in there. Honestly, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, so he's FaceTimed me and he's like, oh my God, like I've just found the most perfect house for us. Like making all these plans together. Let's do this. Let's get this house.
That would have been exactly what you wanted to hear too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, he's making effort. Like he's in this.
Like we're back together fully, right?
Great.
Because like we're getting the house together.
Yeah.
He's like fully committed if he's like wanting to move in together. I'm like, okay. That sounds good. We applied for it that night. Like it was like we had to apply for it that night. He was really excited. Applied for it. Next day we get these emails. We're approved. Great.
Excellent.
We've got the house. I'm moving back to Sydney.
Yeah.
Later on that day, the real estate calls me and he's like, oh, congratulations on the house. Like you've sent over like your kind of things. Just waiting on a few things from, well, I'm going to say his name.
Ted.
Just waiting on a few things from Ted. Can you just like, he's not calling me back. Do you mind just like seeing where everything's at? And I'm like, yeah, no problems. Like, let me give him a call.
Did you have like a gut feeling that like something was off, or were you just like, oh, like, no, it's fine?
I don't think I did because we were getting this house together the night before. Like, there was no time for me to have gut feelings.
So it was like, purely an admin problem at this stage.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, let me just call him. Call him. He's like, I'm really, like, we're actually on a break. Like, we're actually, like, I don't think I can do this. I'm actually, like, we're not together. I need to have a break and I need to go off grid for a week. And I can't talk to him. I'm like, what about the house? Like, are we going to, like, sign the lease? Like, we're going to still be together after, like, is the house still happening? He's like, sorry, like, just got to go off grid. Like, we're basically, like, we're done kind of thing. But I'll, like, get back to you in a week. I'm like, Ted, what's going on?
Talk me through it, Ted. We are not on the same page.
So yeah, basically he goes off grid and doesn't speak to me. He's uncontactable for the next week.
That's hell. That's so selfish that he did that.
So yeah, we went from having a house together and moving into we're off grid, we're not talking, we're on a break, we're broken up, sorry, bye.
So what did you bye forever. Anyway.
What did I do?
What did you say to the real estate?
I ended up just saying, well, I mean, it was a day or two in between this and not talking to him.
Yeah.
So I ended up like saying sorry to the real estate, we're not taking the house. I went on Flatmates. I found myself a place, called them, got myself in there, met some of my best friends and slayed.
That was really your slay. Like, you've been slaying ever since, but I feel like in that time you were like, no, I'm not letting you take me down. Like, even though you were sad, you also slayed.
That was a sad, sorry slaying, but I didn't even know. But yeah, that was basically how I found out that me and my boyfriend were broken up, through the real estate agent. So that was really fun. So if anyone else has got like a good way of finding out, basically the real estate agent let me know that we were broken up.
It's really not the ideal way for it to go down, is it?
No, it's actually not.
Oh, that story, I've heard it so many times, and every time I'm like, that's so tragic.
It's so tragic. But yeah, so if anyone's got a better one than that, let me know.
For our next stories episode, please.
Let us know.
I think my favorite stories are breakup ones that are like funny finding out kind of ways, or when you like have gotten with someone in the past, or it's like an ex or someone, and then you see them again in like a really awkward position.
Oh wait, are you talking about my next one?
What's your next one?
So then I'm like getting over this relationship, and I was getting back into my I was thriving a bit more. Like I've said before so many times, that breakup is the best thing that ever happened to me. So like I'm not like sad about it now. But yeah, we like fast forward a few weeks. He's living in Bondi, I'm living in Bondi, separate houses. I think we'd spoken on the phone a few nights before because, you know, it's just going through it as we do. Anyway, I was like, I'm just about to go to my hair appointment, but I'm going to walk down to the beach and have a swim. Walk down to the beach. I have my AirPods in. I like walk onto the sand, and at Bondi there's like the sand and then there's the grass area like above. I put my phone down, like chuck it onto my towel kind of. I still have my AirPods in that I'm just about to take out. And as I like look up, I see my ex, Ted, and this really hot like girl laying in a bikini like up above on the grass area in front of me. And I was like, okay. At the moment that I see that, my AirPods start ringing. And I'm like, who am I calling? That's so weird. Or like, who's calling me? I look down and I'm calling him. I've dropped my phone. I'm calling him as I've spotted him with this hot girl that he's obviously like on a date with above me. And I was like obviously ending the call, but I was like, I'm just going to have to like grin and bear it, walk into the ocean, come back and leave. But it was tragic out here.
The universe was not on your side that day. That is so awkward.
It's not bad enough that he's with a hot girl. Like I'm calling him.
You had to call, like, it's those things where you're like, how did that happen?
I don't know.
Why did bad things happen to good people?
I mean, it's character building, isn't it?
Oh, it's so funny.
And like he's given me content for the podcast, so.
True. Thank you, Ted. A similar thing happened to my friend. I'm just like exposing all my friends' stories today. I won't expose you by name. But she, like, we'd just gotten back from a big holiday and she was just thinking about her ex the whole time. Like every night it was like we'd talk about him or like she'd cry. Like it was a pretty fresh breakup. But she didn't call him or message him the whole time. And I was like, so proud of you. Like that was hard. You could have done it, but you didn't. Then she gets home from the trip and just like out of nowhere, she was on her phone showing me something and then she just like accidentally calls him out of nowhere. I don't know if it's like she said something and it started calling him or like she tapped something, but we were just both looking at the phone like, no, how did that happen? No. Like,
No.
he was like blocked on everything. It was so crazy. And like,
Did
yeah.
he pick up? Did he see it?
So he thought that she was still on this trip, and like she was calling him at like 3 a.m. or something, and it was like a booty call.
I mean, that's kind of like a better situation. Well,
I mean, I don't know. I feel like sometimes that's more embarrassing if it's an ex, because it's like obviously you're like out and like
Yeah.
drunk. But yeah, it's like how do
Our
these things
iPhones are
happen?
failing us.
I know. It's
I have a bone to pick
bad.
with Apple.
I need to sue Apple for embarrassment,
Literally.
defamation of character.
Literally. Have you had a situation that you've seen an ex in public, or like in anyone that you've seen like in a place?
Yeah. So I had a situation where I saw my ex in public. It was actually in Bondi as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the one when I was with you.
Oh, I can tell that. They're both really quick stories. Okay. It's not safe out here in Bondi.
It's
I
actually
think.
not.
That's what it is. So first one was, my ex. We'd broken up a few weeks before, and I saw him at Bondi Beach. He's not from Bondi. So I was like, that's so weird. Why is he there? Okay, like he's there now. He made his way closer, and I was like, oh, Ted, like, hey. He was like, oh, hey. He was with his friend who, I don't know.
Fancy seeing you here.
Yeah. I was like, that's so strange. Like, you guys are both not even close to Bondi. Anyway, like, we had a chat, and he was like telling me all these things like that he'd been doing and trying to kind of show off a bit. And I just said to my friend after, that's so random. Exactly when we were walking, they were walking. And I looked back, and I'm not someone that like checks who has my location really. Like, I just don't really go and find my friends. A lot of my friends are really on it.
No.
And I realized he still had my location.
No. I didn't know that part.
He'd planned that run in.
No,
It's-
Cody.
And this was like weeks after we'd broken up. I just didn't realize he still had my
No.
location.
Okay, I knew this story, but you missed out that detail. No. He literally stalked you
He
with his
stalked
friends.
me to
And-
do a casual beach run in, because he would have stalked every morning I do that walk at that time. And I'm just too stupid that I didn't realize he had my location. Oh, it's so funny, because I was like, that's so weird. Like, how did that even happen? No.
Sorry, just took a morning walk from like Wollongong to Bondi.
Literally. And I think the reason you didn't know that is because I didn't realize until like months later that he had my location. And that's when I was like, oh, that's how he would have seen me that time.
No way.
Yeah.
No.
So he just had my location for months.
No.
That was crazy. The other one was when I was with Scarlett. It was like an ex situationship. This was maybe like last year. And I hadn't seen this person since we ended things. And I'd always thought that I would, but I just never did. And things always happen like that when you're like not wanting them to happen anymore. I was over this person. I didn't care to see him again, but it always just hurts a little bit. Scarlett and I walk into this restaurant. I make eye contact with this person who is on a date
On another day.
with another girl. And I was like, Scarlett, I need to tell you something.
I didn't know what had happened. But yeah, we'd spotted him on a date with another girl as Cody walked in.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's hard out here, guys. It is hard out here. Like, yeah.
It is really tough. It's just, it happens no matter where you're from. It's like,
Sydney, I feel like Bondi is just like, yeah.
it's bad. I have one more story that I was going to tell, and it's actually a good one. I feel like I forget that this even happened to me because it was so random, but it was from when I lived in London. And basically I left London in the COVID time, but right before I left, things were really kicking off. No one knew what COVID was. Everyone was starting to lose their jobs. So this day I'd had a really terrible day. I'd lost my job and I was on the train and I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I was really deeping everything, contemplating my whole entire life. Then out of nowhere, I hear Boyfriend by Justin Bieber playing in the loudspeakers. And I was like, that's like so strange. Where is that coming from? They don't have music on London trains. And then I see this guy appear in this like hazmat suit, like face covered, everything covered. And my immediate response was like, I'm scared. Like, I don't know what COVID is. Like, what's going on right now? Am I being like taken? I don't know what's happening. And then this guy and his friend proceed to whip out this like table in front of me. They like swish on a tablecloth. And then they put down this like vase and all these red roses, a candle. And meanwhile, everyone in the whole train carriage is filming me. There's maybe like 30 people with all their phones on me. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, not only Boyfriend by Justin Bieber is still playing, but this whole setup is in front of me and this guy is wearing this suit. So I'm like, okay. By this point, I see what's happening. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I know that it's for some kind of bit. They're filming something. So I'm like, I'm just going to play along. I was being a good sport. Then, because we're in the middle of COVID, he brings out this like serving platter that's covered with like a dish. He puts it down in front of me. And right when Justin Bieber hits the bridge of Boyfriend, he opens up the dish and there's a single roll of toilet paper because we're in a toilet paper shortage crisis in London.
That is so random.
So random. So I'm just there like, what is going on?
Does he say anything?
So it was all for the performance. His mate was filming the whole time. This ends up going viral on the internet and gets like millions and millions of views. So once his friend finished filming, they kind of packed everything up. He talked to me for a bit and was like, hey, like I do this thing, like it's dates on a train. You might have seen it. Like I don't think he does it anymore, but it's this TikToker who did it for ages and I'd never heard of him at the time. So I was just really confused. But yeah, that's how I went on a date on a train that ended up going viral on the internet.
Wow. I would love to resurface that.
I've tried to look for it. I can't find it anywhere. And I didn't save it at the time because I'm silly. But yeah, it was funny. But it was it was exactly what I needed at that time because I was like so upset and just like deeping everything.
You just needed some
I just needed
lighthearted
something
fun.
Yeah, to be like, it's not so bad. Like, it was so funny. And I remember telling him that after and being like, honestly, I've had the worst day ever. Like, thank you for that. That was what I needed. And he was like, yeah, like, keep the toilet paper, I guess. I was
You're
like,
welcome.
I will.
That is so random.
So random. Whenever I tell anyone the story, they're like, what? Like, I have to see this video.
I can't with like the little like, I can just imagine him like flicking out his
It was a performance. Like, he was in
Wow.
this suit, but his friend was in like an actual tux. Like, it was crazy.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good story. Okay, so I have one more from a friend, and this is like kind of one that's more like a situation where you see someone that you have met before in public, in a public place. So basically, my friend, she goes to Melbourne, meets this guy from Melbourne, and they spend a night together. That's that. I think they like still kind of friendly, like keep in contact kind of vibes. Anyway, she goes out one night in Sydney. So she's like not even expecting that this guy's in Sydney. She goes to the bathroom and she doesn't realize that she hasn't locked the door. So it's obviously like a bathroom that's not like a full girls bathroom kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So she doesn't lock the door. She's sitting there on the bathroom and the door opens and this guy walks in and double takes it. He's like, oh, hey, closes the door. But instead of like walking out, proceeds to walk in and start talking to her. And she's just sitting on the toilet like, hello. So he's like having a full blown conversation with her and then walks over and like whacks the tap on like, oh, this will help you like with the stage fright. And she's sitting there like, anyway, keeps talking to her. I believe by this stage she still hasn't peed. Anyway, he walks over to her, picks her up, starts kissing her while she's on the toilet with her undies around her legs. Puts her back down, walks out. She doesn't see him again for the rest of the night.
That is like so niche. Like, it's the undies around the feet for me.
Imagine that. You're just like sitting there on the toilet and like this guy like he doesn't leave. He's just like, oh, hey. Walk in like it's a normal conversation.
I think I would have to be like, can you get out? Like, I'll see you after. Like, don't look at me. That's so funny. Just like sitting there being like, what is going on right now?
What is going on?
And the kissing her, like picking her up. Like,
I
no,
know. It's
no.
funny, isn't it? But yeah, that's like another awkward setting.
That's so funny. I love that story.
She's going to kill me. I think that was all our stories for today. I feel like we exposed ourselves more than anyone else.
It just always triggers like
It does.
memories. I don't know.
And like we said, dating is important for stories.
It is. And if it goes wrong, then you've got a great story. So it's never a
Exactly.
loss.
And if it goes right, we won't be discussing it on the podcast.
That's true.
We hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a bit of a laugh with us. It's always
Yeah.
a bit of a lighthearted fun, these type of episodes.
I know. I feel like we always have fun like reacting to them and talking through everything that we do and all the random thoughts we have about everything. So we hope you guys enjoy it too.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe and download wherever you get your podcast. And like we always say, rate and review.
And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok at White Fox After Hours for all the extra BTS content. And we'll see you next week.